when I started my practice back in '04, it got really popular. And people are like, wow, you can take these threads, which basically they're barbed sutures. So you take a suture essentially is like a fishing line, but you take a little knife and you put little cuts into the suture. So when you run it underneath the skin, it will actually grab onto tissue. And so, you could run these barbed sutures on the skin and it would look like you're lifting the neck or the forehead or whatever. And
you're reawakening my trauma from when I got threads.
Oh, there you go. And people go, look, these things are amazing because you could run this under. It's not surgery. It's a minor operation, whatever. And it's so amazing. And the problem with these threads is that at the time they were permanent and people would literally get a 6 to 12 month result from it. But years later, they'd have these permanent threads sticking out through their skin that they would come to see me and like, oh, we got to clip it off and stuff like that. So I never got on the thread bandwagon. And then what happened is after a few years, people realized this doesn't work. And so they abandoned it. And then what happens is a decade goes by, a new generation of doctors come around. And these companies say, oh, I've got this new thing called threads, barbed sutures. They go, really? What's that? Well, we put these little holes in it and then we run on the skin and look at how amazing this is.
And they show the video of like pulling it up before they...
Yeah, like look at how incredible. It's so powerful. It lifts everything. Yeah. And the doctor's like, I've never seen anything like that. This is revolutionary. Let's sell this. And then they sell it for $3, $4, $5,000. And then 6 months later, the results are gone. And well, they made their money. So unfortunately, there are these treatments that literally are fad treatments where people have it done. And, it's not the fault of the patient. They don't know. Is that the doctors don't do their research and say, wow, a decade ago, we figured out that these don't work. That's why we stopped doing them. And next thing you know, it's kind of this revolving type of a door.
But also with social media, something that I saw with threads a lot was, practitioners, whether they were doctors or med spa type places, attributing certain celebrities' looks to threads. I mean, the Bella Hadid cat eyes was probably the biggest thing. And who knows what she really did. We don't know, allegedly. But, to your point, they don't last very long. There's a lot of complications associated with them. And having had them done myself when I was younger and more naive, it is so traumatic, or it was so traumatic for me. It was awful, and not cost effective at all. Because if you're paying $3, $4, $5,000 and you're doing it, especially in your temples, which I've never seen it look good, and then it goes away in a couple months, and then you're doing it again, that's a brow lift.
Yeah, I mean, I think the way I don't. And some people say, it's got a high risk of complication. I mean, anything you do will have complications. I do facelifts. You get complications. I think really what it comes down to is be honest with your patient. Say, hey, you know what? These thread lifts, they cost $6,000. In 6 months, you're not going to have any results. Are you still okay with that? And if you're okay with it, then hey, go ahead. And maybe there are celebrities out there where, hey, dropping $5,000 to get a 6 or 12 month result is not a big deal for them, then that's fine. But I think it really is just being honest with your patients and telling them that. And I think that's what irks me, is that I don't tell my patients, look at all these horrible complications and stuff like that. And yes, you can get them. I just tell them like, it's really expensive. It lasts 6 to 12 months. Are you sure you want to spend that money? That's the big thing.
I remember I had a friend of mine, Dr. Mascaro, on the podcast, and we were talking about maybe Morpheus. One of the lasers, one of the radiofrequency microneedling lasers. And he kind of said, a lot of these lasers can produce like a 3 to 5% improvement. And the practitioners aren't telling the patients that because they're kind of sold as this panacea facelift and a laser kind of thing. And he was saying, I just remember this clip specifically. He was like, if you're okay paying X amount of thousands of dollars for a 3 to 5% increase on that wrinkle, if you're okay with that, then great, like go for it. But there is kind of just this dishonesty around it and around expectations and, results.
I think that that's the important thing. And the problem that we have when you're looking at lasers and devices like that is that everybody's body reacts differently. And therein is the challenge of it. One reason why I like surgery, and I still perform surgery a couple days a week, is that I know what I can get with it. Whereas when you do these devices, it really comes down to your body's reaction to those devices that will get you the result. And there's some people where, you can do, let's say, a Morpheus 8 treatment on them and they get a really nice tightening. And then you do it on the next person and they don't see much from it. And therein really is the difficulty when you're dealing with technology and technology that requires your body to react in a certain way, the collagen in your skin to essentially tighten up. And collagen is, as much as I love talking about collagen, it's not the most predictable of things in our body. That's the problem.
Yeah, I did Profound and I had the opposite reaction of what I was supposed to have. Like I had so much laxity in my skin. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. Well, probably because I did 2 rounds, a couple years apart, but yeah, I mean, it was like it melted my skin.
Yeah, there was a device that, and I'm not going to say what it was, but it's a radiofrequency device. And it was a really hot one about 15 years ago.
Althera?
And no, actually, therapy is ultrasound.
Oh, that's
so
right.
This is radiofrequency.
Yeah.
And I wrote actually a letter in our white journal about it saying that I saw fat loss with it. And the company actually sent me a cease and desist letter. Basically saying, don't comment on our product, but this was a scientific letter. I showed a picture of my patient where they had fat loss because it was the radiofrequency energy was going too deep and it was literally melting her fat. And and then they attacked me.
Sounds like there's a lot of gaslighting in the medical community.
Maybe it's just to
me. You're being silenced.
Maybe they don't want me to say anything. I don't know.